Well, hello, everybody, and it's time for another courageous conversation. And boy, have I got a good one this time. I am so excited about these guests that I have today because I got a chance to visit the place where they're doing this care and participate with the people who are providing the hands-on support, both of these ladies and other people who are involved, because it's a big deal. They have two parents who are living with some changes, and they have not just a house, they have a farm. And they're in a part of the country where there are not that many carers available, and they've got whole bunches of life care communities and assisted livings and other things that would take up traditional caregivers and use them. So I'm setting you up, but I want to introduce some really amazing ladies. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell a little of their background story and the story of the place that they are, because it's, I have been around a long time. This partnership they've put together is unbelievably wonderful. So go for it, ladies. Now that I've built it up and now you got to carry the ball.
Well, I'm Marie, and I'm a daughter, and I am living with dementia, as both of my parents are living with dementia. This was not my plan, but what do you do? I live 600 miles away from my parents, who require extensive care. My personal life, I'm a quilter, and I also have a couple grandchildren. So I am in the middle of caring and helping for 1-year-olds and 90-year-olds. My parents wanted to stay home. My parents wanted to stay home and live at home. So the way we have put this together is finding ways to keep my parents at home, but provide the care that they need on a day-to-day basis.
And the other partner here is...
Hi, I'm Anne. I'm also a daughter. The Marie is my older sister. I was the youngest, so somehow the responsibility, she has really jumped in and done a majority, and so I really support her. I have had a good relationship with my parents, and at this point in their life phase, I support Marie. We communicate many times every day, even though we are not at the house where my parents live. We have a team set up, and we'll talk about that more. But I am in my mid-50s. I have a full-time job and kids and other responsibilities. And somehow we have managed to put together something that seems to work well, but it's taken a lot of process and time to make it work.
And you live where, Anne?
I live about 45 minutes away.
Okay. And your folks' home is where in the world?
Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
So Lancaster County, for those of you who are aware or not aware of the world of Pennsylvania, is somewhere sort of in the middle lower section in there, not too close to Pittsburgh, not too close to Philly. It is farm country. It is, what else would you say about it? It's rural as a rule.
My family, my my father is from this area, and he has inherited that workaholism, that connection to the land, dedication to the community. And now that things have changed for him, of course, I feel like the community is really able to bring back some of what he gave all those years when he was more able to do so.
So by heritage, your mom is and your dad is, they're both of them are from this area. Is that accurate?
Well, Mom is from Indiana, northern Indiana.
Oh, Indiana. Mm-hmm.
And they
did. Oh, yeah.
Yes. So they met in Indiana at a camp, and Mom was the camp nurse, and Dad was teaching Bible studies at the camp. And so she went back to her college, and then he went back to his college in Eastern Virginia. And then they got married and moved to Philly. She was a nurse and he went to med school. And so they have a medical background that continues to help them, and they teach us, still teach us.
Yeah. So now so putting the puzzle pieces together, this gets really interesting because he's on the family land, right? Or did they purchase that out of nowhere? No, because his folks, tell me more about.
It's not family land.
It's not family land, but he's from that area, or they're from somewhere else?
He's from Lancaster County.
Okay, I was going to say, I know for you guys, that's not the family land, but I mean, he's from Lancaster area.
Right.
Right. And his family is not first generation, not second generation. How many generations have
12.
they?
12
generations.
in Lancaster County. But his, where they live is more of a gentleman's farm, I guess. They're 14 acres, but he does have animals. He has a small herd of goats, and they had some llamas and chickens and some things like that, and barns and tractors and woods and meadows to mow and hay to hay and things like that.
And a swimming pool.
That was for Mom.
Yes, it absolutely was, but there is a swimming pool. Because I was there. I know. And a swimming pool and lots of birds.
Yep.
Lots of birds.
Yep.
So tell us sort of how long you've been tell us a little bit about the start of the journey, because I don't think when you started this journey, you necessarily thought you'd be where you are now, starting the journey, because that was a while ago that it started. And also just sort of with their background, a physician and a nurse. Yeah. Two people who are usually pretty strong-willed, but very wonderful servant-oriented people. I mean, yeah, medical, but a servant mentality. You must serve. How old are your folks? We never did establish how old are they? Yeah.
91 and 92.
Okay, because I don't know that we said that. It's like, let's talk about how old they are and how long they've been together.
Yes.
And they have
65 years.
65 years together.
Yeah.
And they have been extremely independent far into their old age, and they have traveled when they're 60s and 70s and 80s.
About 8 or 9 years ago, I realized they needed some extra help. And I thought, it's time to start sharing that information with somebody younger so that I know what they want to do, where they want to live, how they want to live. And I've been reading some books and, some good books to try to figure out how to do that. And was in that process. And then my mother went to the hospital with probably a UTI.
Mm.
And at the hospital, they didn't know what to do with her because she wouldn't sit still. She wouldn't lay in bed. So they gave her some medications to make her stay in bed. And they gave her some Haldol, which made her heart rate go sky high, and thought she wasn't going to make it. And so it was a very bad experience in the hospital, and they sent her home on a Friday with many medications to die.
Whoa.
Said, you're going home, take her home, get hospice. She's going to die in a week.
Wow. Wow. This is from a woman who'd been, you were thinking, yeah, we need to get a little help in here. They maybe shouldn't be totally on their own, but nothing like that. And
No.
with the UTI, I'm going to bet, this is me guessing, part of what ended up getting her to the hospital was sort of some of the symptoms that weren't, she wasn't saying, boy, I think I might have a bladder infection. You know, it really burns when I urinate, and I'm just noticing a really, none of that. I mean, it was already behavioral types of things that were out of character for her, and distress state that it took a little bit for anybody to go, we need to do something. This is not working.
Right.
And so when she went in, there was absolutely no idea that what she had was a dementia at all. And they just automatically threw a medication or a whole bunch. All of a sudden, she's on a whole bunch of medications that could indeed and frequently do kill somebody when you do stuff like that, when you're treating something that you don't even know exactly what you're treating and what the underlying reason why they're having these symptoms are. So then after the 7 days, it doesn't sound like it actually, she passed away.
No, it's been 5 years, and we got hospice. We got a 24/7 home care agency, but you know, she was getting a little better. And so Dad says, if she can't have PT on hospice, let's get rid of it.
So Dad was the one starting to help. I mean, at that point, he was making those choices. And you were supporting what those choices are, because was he at that point the primary healthcare power of attorney for her?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you were just basically being supportive of and being the activator of whatever it was, because was he primarily getting the agencies in, or you were already starting to take that on?
I took that on. We took that on.
Okay, so you guys were already recognizing, let's do this so Dad can really be with Mom and be present with her and not have to worry about this. And as a doctor, he's used to nurses doing stuff and social workers doing stuff. So that's fine. Do that thing. Listen to what I told you. Yeah, and that was fine.
His sense of duty was that he should take care of her 24/7. He didn't want anyone else in the house. He didn't want any help. He felt very strongly that it was his responsibility, but we knew he had to sleep at night, and we knew he couldn't handle everything. So my sister, you know, was bringing in support to help Mom so that Dad could sleep.
And so I'm curious, Marie, how did you negotiate that with him, the doctor who's in charge of things?
They said, this is what you have to do. The hospice comes in occasionally, and he clearly knew we needed help.
Okay, so you were able to finesse that a little bit.
And the agency could come, the only agency that could come on a Saturday or Friday night, I think, actually. And
they discharged her on Friday late in the afternoon.
No, they said she should go home on hospice on Friday. She didn't come home in the ambulance until Sunday.
Okay.
So it took us 2 days to get things in place.
Oh, so did you tell them, as soon as we get everything arranged, we will bring her home? But no, you're not going to send her home Friday afternoon?
Correct. Well, they said we'll send her home when things are in order.
Oh, good. Okay, so that's a hospital that actually is thinking about that versus we're done, she can go home, you know, work out the hospice stuff. So that's a plus, because I can tell you there are some places that that's not the case. Yeah, teaching hospitals particularly are very quick on Fridays. We're done.
But the agency sent out, you know, started great. You know, it was lots of people, some more experienced to help set up. You know, then we had the hospice people coming in and out. So it got very complicated because there were 53 people coming in to the house in 2 months.
So I'm going to pause here because imagine you're in your home and you've lived alone with your spouse pretty much for years, and you went out and traveled and you don't mind people, but in your private home over the course of 2 months, you have 50 some people in and out, and you're just recovering from, well, you may not be recovering. It looks like you might be recovering. It's hard to tell if you're recovering, but you were supposed to go home and die in a week. Well, that didn't work out. So now we have to have a new game plan. And 50, how many? 50 what?
53 by my count.
In 2 months, you have 50. That's almost like a new person a day. You keep just switching them up. And this family is supposed to figure out how to navigate these many different human beings coming in, maybe knowing, maybe not knowing, maybe this is their one time, maybe this is the third time, maybe they don't know. And it was for when your dad was sleeping. So I assume this is
24/7.
24/7. So what you're arranging,
24/7.
you got to get day shift and afternoon and evening.
Yep.
And yeah, how well is that going to work when people call off and then you got to find somebody else? And wow. So,
well, and they would send us people that had never been to care for anybody. They'd just been through training. And so then they sent them out for an overnight shift.
even though we had a woman that had done this really odd thing out of nowhere and had some really different kind of things happening, and like, wow, okay, this doesn't seem quite right. So what did you do then? At that point, you're going, wait, 53 in 2 months? Are you kidding me? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just going to say there was a point where we had because the staffing couldn't send enough people to cover, we had 3 different agencies that we were signed up with, and there still wasn't enough people to cover all the shifts.
Holy moly. And you just get used to one person, they're no longer part of that agency. And so now you got to get used to a whole new, and so basically you're spending all your time trying to train long distance, or you're trying to make sure at least somebody's there. So you have eyes on.
Well, we weren't even training. We were just kind of surviving. We were just surviving.
Wow. So you're
waiting for her to keel over, I guess.
Yeah, because that was what the plan, I mean, if she was lasting a lot longer. Was anybody managing the meds at that point and going, how many meds did she get put on?
Hospice did that.
My sister and I became concerned about mom's meds, and we kind of, working with the doctor and with more of a geriatric doctor, we started to just take her off of a lot of meds, and she really perked up.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So that speaks, I mean, once again, we're into this role of advocacy and really having to be a strong advocate. So at that point, I'm thinking 2 things. Too many people, too many agencies, and no chefs. The problem is you didn't have anybody who was really skilled and at creating things that make somebody want to do it. You two were actually already starting to have to figure things out and bring in an expert to help you so you could try to make this reasonable. So what happened next?
Well, and I want to just go back a little bit, because the primary care doctor had also been giving fair amount of pretty high benzodiazepines because she couldn't sleep. Well, that's common at age, living with dementia, you can't sleep. So that also caused some pretty serious side effects of falling and brain changes.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that Anne and I clearly said, we've got to get her off of these medications.
Yeah. And what I'm thinking that at that time, nobody had thought about is the possibility of Lewy body dementia.
Oh, no. No.
Even though what they were treating her for, sleep problems, is one of the hallmarks of Lewy body dementia.
Correct.
And really extreme reactions to medications is also, and paradoxical reactions to some medications is also a hallmark of Lewy body, and falls are a hallmark of having Lewy body. Oh my heavens. And fine motor skills, where she's starting to having some problems with things, but not horrible, but having some. And then sometimes she's fine, but variable.
Yep.
And so what happened was we had somebody who is essentially addicted to benzodiazepines that were supposed to help her sleep, but she still wasn't sleeping. So she would sleep a half an hour a night, and she would beg for the pills. And that's a little bit of personal information, but it was very, very bad. It was very upsetting. It was very upsetting to my mom that she could not sleep. And it was very upsetting to the caregivers. And it was very upsetting to my sister and I and my dad, and everybody was very upset. Yeah. And she was upset. So it was really a crisis about her ability to sleep. And we tried everything we could think of, from massage to all kinds of teas and positions and lights and all the things that you can find as advice. So it really became a crisis of how to get mom to be able to rest and sleep.
Yeah. And sometimes it was you're awake for 48 hours and then you sleep for 12.
Yep.
Sometimes be awake, quote, for 72, but falling and really, really exhausted.
And really often in distress when you're awake, because you can't.
Very much in distress.
And really getting frustrated with people and what's going on. And
well, 53 people coming in.
I can't imagine why that would be frustrating. I have no idea why that would bother you when you've not had people in your house before. So, and still no recognition that what we might be dealing with is a dementia that sleep problems are part of the dementia, and you're not going to fix it because you can't fix dementia, kind of. Still, nobody was bringing that up from those 3 different agencies.
Well, she came home with a diagnosis
of
dementia.
Uh-huh.
But they get training in dementia, but nothing specific. And some people were caring and good, but out of 53 people, I would have hired 5.
Ouch.
Privately.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So this isn't working. Dad is pretty functional, but really committed to being her care provider, and having a very difficult time having other people involved in her intimate space of bedtime and stuff like that, I'm thinking. Is that accurate, or he was okay?
Yeah. And Teepa, you asked about how did we negotiate that with Dad. And I will say something here, that Dad's kind of stubborn, but so is Marie. My sister's also stubborn. They have some similarities. So it wasn't always really a negotiation. It was 2 stubborn people being stubborn at each other. But eventually, Marie was so determined, and we saw the care was needed. And it was, a lot of people could not have done it. I will just say that my sister was stubborn enough to be able to do this, and other people, I don't even know if I would have been able to.
No, because he was really adamant about it. So you had to really be hard-nosed and say, nope, if you want to stay here, this is how we're going to do it. Yeah. Well, I don't think you need to be
because a lot of people ask us about that, and the truth is that it wasn't easy.
No, so he's got to be the bad guy. And I mean, in that moment, you, Marie, and you've done that several times, you've had to be the bad guy, in that this is what we're doing. We're going to try this. If it doesn't work, I'll own it, but we are trying this. We're going to do this for right now. For right now, Dad, this is what we're going to do. Okay, but we're going to do it.
You've been here.
Yes. Hi, I'm Teepa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching, and if you liked, if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. Oh, and if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out. And you might want to visit our website, www.teepasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.